Hello everyone, welcome back to my video series. My name is Loy. I'm glad to be here today to talk about backups your Nutanix Police using Veeam. Before we continue, for those of you who first time view my video, if you would like to stay tuned on my next upcoming video, please feel free to click on the subscribe button so you will get notifications when we do publish a new video, right? Without further ado, let's have a quick look into our environments. So what I have here is the Nutanix CE, um, which I already installed and set up, which also deploy some of the virtual machine as well, right? And of course, with the latest versions of Veeam 11A, if you want to leveraging on the new features on perform a recovery, for example, instant recoveries to Nutanix Police, uh, the only supported version will be AOS version 6, right? So therefore, in this demo, we were not able to do a demo that because I'm running on CE version. It's not the latest version, right? But at least we able to show to you that how does our Nutanix environment look like. So I did set up a cluster, a single node cluster, and then I deploy one virtual machine running on CentOS. After that, in order for me to do protections, I will need to leverage it on the Veeam backup servers to deploy the proxy. All right. So this is the proxy which I already deployed. Right. Without further ado, let's have a quick look on the Veeam backup server. Let me maximize this. Right. In order for you to protect those Nutanix Police, right? For those of you who view my previous demo about the KVM backup, the concept is almost similar, but with the latest version 11A, you can now deploy the AHV proxy from the Veeam backup server, right? The first thing that you need to do is you can just go to, for example, your backup infra. Okay, you go to your backup infra and then you click on Add Server. So this is the place whereby you start to add your Nutanix AHV, right? Once you have added this, it will come to here. Then it will ask you to, for example, to enter your cluster name, right? Uh, then it will ask you for the authentications, which allow you to connect to Nutanix Police. Then when you click next, it will ask you for some of the setting, appliance settings, right? Let's just wait for a while. Well, when you come to this page, right, this is talking about FLR helper appliance that we are going to use when we want to do recovery. So therefore, you need to specify your storage container where you want to put it and also your network as well. Then for this FLR helpers, you need to provide an IP address as well, right? Once you have done that, then you can click on next and finish, right? So we already done that. We are not going to do that, right? Once you have done that, the next thing will be you start to add your backup proxy. So from here, you can just right click and add what we call Nutanix backup proxy, right? First time deployment, you need to select deploy a new proxy, right? So let me cancel on this and let's view on the setting that we already configured on our existing one. Right. So from here, you need to specify where do you want to put this backup proxy. So you need to define the clusters, the names, right? The storage containers, and also the resources as well, right? Due to limited resources on my lab, so therefore I only assign 2 core and 2 gig of memory, right? For production use, we encourage you to increase this number, right? Then next thing will be you need to define the AHV proxy the IP address. Next, the backup proxy that we deploy, you probably want to define the credentials that we assign to it when we start to deploy the virtual appliance. On access permissions is referring to what which repositories that we want to provide access, right? Then you can just click next and you can just click finish, right? Uh, just now we missed one wizard. The access permissions will allow you to select the repositories, but for my settings, I just allow all repositories, okay? In case you want to make some modifications on some of the backup proxy settings, you can open the web console, just click on this button, it will just redirect you, okay? And then you can just use the credential, right, that you already assigned just now. So this is the AHV proxy that we already deployed. From here, the dashboard, you can see there's a connections to the backup servers. We also can see the repositories, the number of virtual machines, and also job as well. To modify the settings, you can go to here, but all this setting is already preset, especially when you deploy the proxy, right? So from here, you can see backup servers, AHV clusters, right? And of course, the appliance settings. Okay, for example, if you want to restore the configurations, the catalogs, or backup the catalogs, or reboot the backup appliance. In case you want to open the case with Veeam support, you can also click on here, so you can generate a log as well. Other settings, for example, IP address, you can assign, change the password, time zone, right? Select your time zone which is nearest to you. Update. Right now we are running the latest version, so therefore there's no update at all right now. Okay. Notification that you can set, and also the email setting as well. Right. Okay, if you go back to the dashboard, right now when you click on the job, at this moment there's no there's we not yet create a new job, right? And there's nothing has been run at this moment, right? But we are not going to use this web-based portal. What we are going to do next is use the latest version, the 11A, to do a central management of a configuration and policy, right? Now, so we already connect to the cluster and also deploy the backup proxy. The next thing is to start to do backup, right? So from here, you can click on backup job, and then you can select Nutanix AHV. When you click on this, it will redirect you to the backup proxy, all right? Without need to enter the credential. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do, for example, AHV backup, and I'm going to type the name. In terms of AHV protections, let me find this. Okay, you can create a backup job. You can also create a snapshot job, all right, to execute a snapshot on the Nutanix appliance. You can also do a PD snapshot job, okay, as well. Right now, we are going to do backup job. Okay, so let's backup job. Right. Next, select your virtual machines that we want to protect. Right now, we want to protect. Let me see, CentOS. Okay, add. Backup repositories. I'm going to put this backup data into scale up backup repo, and then I'm going to define retentions of 3. Right. You can also modify, for example, maintenance files. Okay, can remove it. How many days? Perform active full, right? In case you want it, right? Then click on next. Define your scheduling when you want to run it. I prefer to run probably 1 p.m. every day, right? Okay, 1 a.m., right? Then let's click. Okay, let's modify this and change to 1 p.m. Okay, then click on next and let's start job. Right. From here, you can view the job status, or you can go back to the Veeam backup server. From the here, you can also view your job status. Right. So this is the beauty about central management using the Veeam backup and applications, and this is the version 11A. Right. This backup going to run for a while. So what we're going to do is we're going to pause the video and we are going to resume back once it's finished. Right. Well, we are back and backup completed. Right. Let's go back to here. Well, this is done. Right. And of course, you can click on protected VMs. So this is the number of resource point that is already being backed up. In case you want to do recovery, you can click on restore, and you can also click on this restore. But we are not going to use this. We are going to close this. Let's go to the Veeam backup server. From here, let's have a look at it. AHV backup, CentOS, right? And then you can go to the property. You can view the same thing. They do included with a built-in compression and dedupe to reduce your backup size, right? The backup format still remain the same, right? The full copy is BPK, and then incremental is BIP file, right? Now let's have a quick look on the recovery. Right click, instant recovery. This is the beauty about it, right? You can now do instant recoveries to VMware, Hyper-V, and Nutanix AHV, right? How about others backup data? If you go from here, this is the beauty about it, right? If you're running Nutanix AHV, the AOS is version 6, you can execute this instant recovery, right? So let's say if you're running an unsupported version, right? If you try to do this, right? Try to do instant recovery, it will prompt you with that error messages, right? Telling you that no, you do not have a supported version, so therefore you will not be able to do instant recovery, right? Now let's get back to here, right? Next thing will be you're able to export the backup. You're able to export these AHVs, the backup data into Hyper-V or VMware Virtual Disk, right? So you can do like this, right? You can execute this, and then you can do FLR Explorers, okay? Plus, if you're running applications, for example, Microsoft applications, you can also leveraging on Veeam Explorers. Not only that, those backup data that you backup, you can now restore directly to Amazon EC2, Microsoft Azure, and the latest one is GCP, right? You can also do a full VM recovery from this, okay? Export backup data as well, right? Let's give a try to do instant recoveries to VMware, right? We already backup the CentOS, okay, running on AHV. We are going to do instant recovery to our VMware, right? Let's select this and let's move into here. Let's do 166, right? Click next, and I'm not going to connect to network. Let's click on here, right? Well, this process is going to take a while, right? But the concept of instant recovery is similar, like the VMware. We are going to use the vPower NFS to do mounting of the backup data to the VMware, right? And then it's going to publish configuration and updating the VM configuration as well, right? If you go to the VMware host itself, there you go. So you notice here we already mount the backup data, and then right now we will do a conversion, okay, of the Linux VM. It will take a while. Once it's done, then there you go. Right? From here, you're able to see that it's booting up, right? So this is instant recovery of AHV uh, or virtual machines to VMware, right? Well, we are not going to wait for this. We already know how does it really work, right? Oh, this is the cool things about it, right? Uh, Once it's power on, I'm doing conversions at the back end, right? This is the beauty about it, right? Converting Linux VM while my VM is already up and running, right? This is the cool things about this, right? Okay, let's move back to here, right? So done. You will listed here is the recovery. The virtual machine is already up and running, right? Okay, just close this, and we are going to just discard. Once you discard, then it will disappear from the ESXi, right? There you go, done. Let's back to here. Additional things that you can perform is you can back up to tape. You can make a backup copy job to another location as well, right? If you want to. So back to here, right? So this is the few recovery options that is available that you can play around in your lab environments. Okay. Well, that's all for today. Hopefully you have a clear understanding about how do we backup those Nutanix AHV virtual machines by using Veeam, right? Thank you very much and see you next time.